Alright, we got another video. This one is called Actress Escapes a Fake Robbery, but her stalker ex still found her.
April 2016, Duluth, Georgia. Jokisha Brown was attacked in her own home in the middle of the night. Two men broke in. One of them, her ex-boyfriend Alfredo Capote, went straight for her. The other man went to her 17-year-old son Jack's room. He woke him up, asking about money. Money Jokisha supposedly had from Alfredo. Her son Jack managed to call 911.
What's going on there? They thought my mom's boyfriend's money was in his house. And they came through the door like super early in the morning. I know that because I woke up with one of them holding a gun to my face. They said if I call the police, when they get back, the police is here, they're gonna probably kill my mom. I kept telling him I don't know where the money is. And he constantly kept putting the gun into my back. They realized that the money wasn't at her house because it's his money. And they went downtown to get his money from his house. He was like, you know, he has over $500,000. I was like, nah, I didn't know that. I know he does music, but I didn't know that. And he was like, yeah, that's the money we look.
You can hear it in his voice, the fear, the confusion. He had no idea what money they were talking about, and he didn't know that one of those men was Alfredo Capote, his mom's ex. But here's the thing, the robbery story, the money, all of it was staged. Police would later learn that Alfredo set up the entire home invasion to cover what he came there to do. He came to attack Jokisha. And according to investigators, that's exactly what he did.
And family of the Jacksonville actress shot and killed in Atlanta mourned her loss and celebrated her life at a vigil held at Friendship Fountain. Their friends revealed that Brown stated she feared for her life before she was shot and killed last week. Channel 4's Francesca Amaker has more from downtown.
Alfredo took Jokisha from her home that night. Her son called for help, but by the time officers got there, she was already gone. Hours went by. No one knew where she was. No one knew if she was even alive. Before we get too deep, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you find value in these discussions. Jokisha Dynasty Brown was born on July 2nd, 1980 in Jacksonville, Florida, the oldest of 9 children. From a young age, she helped raise her younger siblings. She fed them, cleaned them, tutored them, watched over them daily. Being the oldest meant she learned early what it meant to take care of people. She graduated from Ribault High School in Jacksonville and started working multiple jobs around the South Side. Through her modeling work, her dancing, her presence in Jacksonville's entertainment scene, she became known. Not just in her neighborhood, across the city, across Florida. People recognized her face. Friends and family called her Keisha. Some called her Dynasty, her middle name. In 1998, when she was just 18 years old, Jokisha gave birth to her son, Jack Collier. She called him Noodles.
What's happening Facebook? I am going live, as you can see, for the first time. Yes, this is my first time going live too. Yeah. As you can see, introduce. What's that?
Why did that man? He looked familiar. He looked familiar. I seen him somewhere. He looked very familiar. I think I seen him somewhere. I can't put my finger on it. Don't nothing good happen on Facebook.
Why is they finished? I'm not finished.
I don't know. That's just saying.
Oh, okay.
When you finished. Oh, you got some viewers out there?
Hey, okay, introduce yourself.
By 2010, Jacksonville wasn't enough anymore. Jokisha wanted to model, to act, to build a real career in entertainment. For that, she needed to be in Atlanta. That's where the industry was. That's where the opportunities were. So she made the move. Jokisha became a licensed real estate agent with Keller Williams Realty. That covered the bills while she built her acting and modeling career. In 2010, she wrote and starred in an independent film called Queen Pin. Low budget, independent production, but Jokisha played the lead. And people who watched it could see she had talent. She kept working. She appeared in a film called Bloodline, music videos, building her resume, making connections, getting her name out there. In Atlanta's entertainment scene, she was becoming a recognized face. The people who knew Jokisha talked about more than just her work. One of her close friends said, she was beautiful inside and out. She walked in the room, she filled the room with her smile. She was always so positive.
Jokisha in a short film called Child Support. She was a very uplifted person, very kind, very sweet, always smiling, just being around her energy, she was a good person.
Another person said, seeing people smile and making them happy, that was the greatest sense of accomplishment for her. And then there was Alfredo Capote. He'd been arrested multiple times. By 2016, he was already wanted for bail violation in connection with a federal fraud case, counterfeiting specifically. So even before Jokisha came into the picture, this man was actively avoiding the law. At some point, Jokisha and Alfredo started dating. The relationship turned violent. Friends said the breakup was hard on her. One friend told reporters, she went through a very, very hard time with this breakup, and she steadily voiced it. She really feared for her life. She feared for her life that something might happen to her. That fear was justified. because in April 2016, Alfredo Capote allegedly broke into Jokisha's home in Duluth, Georgia. Late at night, while her 17-year-old son Jack was asleep in his room and Jokisha was in another part of the house.
Just finished working out. I'm tired as ever. Let me tell y'all something that I really, really hate. And ladies, I know you guys are going to be able to relate. Fellas, you're not going to really be able to relate. But don't you hate when you use like public restrooms and stuff like that? You know, we have to slide. I mean, we can't sit on the toilets and you accidentally piss on your leg. I did that so many times. It's so annoying. I just wish I could walk around with my personal toilet because I'm tired of, I just be going to be in the restroom with her and I just be squatting and sitting like that. And next thing you know, I'm like, oh shit, I pissed on my damn leg. I get tissue and wipe it on up.
What does this have to do with the video? Just randomly just put this in the video like that? Oh, she just yapped about that.
Police would later
A random video of her. Come on.
Say that Alfredo brought an accomplice with him to make it look like a robbery. They kept talking about money that Jokisha supposedly had from Alfredo, money that didn't exist, just to sell the story. But during the attack, Alfredo allegedly admitted to Jokisha that the whole thing was staged. He came there to attack her. Investigators say Alfredo then allegedly assaulted Jokisha in her own home. After that, he forced her into a vehicle and took her to a hotel in Cobb County, where the attack continued. Jack called 911. By the time officers arrived, Jokisha was already gone.
Tragic mystery in Atlanta that is of particular local interest. Detectives are still trying to solve the killing of a Jacksonville native shot to death in a parking lot.
This happened Friday night as 35-year-old Jokisha Brown was sitting in her car. People know her as Keisha. Police still don't know who pulled the trigger. Channel 4's Ethan Calloway spoke with a man who knew Brown personally.
It was a shock, it was sadness, and it was a hurt because I knew her personally.
Kevin Sapp says he knew Keisha Brown from her time living in Jacksonville. He says the initial pain of finding out she was killed near her home in Atlanta was only made worse learning how she was killed.
She was beautiful inside and out. And if you can see the pictures of her, how beautiful she was that way on the inside also. Just a real sweet, kind-hearted person.
Police say the 35-year-old was shot and killed as she sat in her Mercedes outside of Northeast Atlanta's strip mall Friday night. The aspiring actress and model would have celebrated her 36th birthday the very next day. Detectives are still working to find the person who shot her, along with a motive.
Don't know why, because she was not that kind of person to make enemies. So what happened to her, I don't know why. It still bothers me and it's hurting me now.
For Brown's family, the loss is all too familiar. Keisha's brother, Marlon Bryce, was killed in March during a shootout at Jacksonville's Silver Fox Gentlemen's Club. Sapp describes the legacy he says Brown leaves behind.
Someone that you will always remember, that you'll never have something bad to say about when they're gone. When that person gone, you will remember that person the rest of your life.
Early the next morning, Jokisha appeared at a gas station in Perry, Georgia. She was in bad shape, panicked, terrified. Alfredo had been driving her somewhere when the car slowed down at an intersection. Jokisha saw her chance and jumped out of the moving vehicle. She ran to a gas station parking lot, found a stranger sitting in their car, and climbed into the back seat. She got down on the floor and begged for help. The stranger saw a terrified woman who said someone was trying to hurt her. They called 911. Authorities later said she was laying in the floorboard of this stranger's car and would not raise up. She was obviously distraught, frightened, very upset, and started telling them what happened and who was responsible. She told them what happened and who was responsible. The fake robbery, the attack, being taken to the hotel. She identified Alfredo Capote, but Alfredo was already gone. Warrants were issued immediately for his arrest. Armed robbery, kidnapping, aggravated sexual battery.
Armed robbery, grape. Oh, this man, he better have got a life.
False imprisonment. And despite law enforcement actively searching for him, he stayed hidden for 3 months. Jokisha had to go back to her life knowing the man who allegedly attacked and kidnapped her was still out there, still free, still able to find her if he wanted to.
Her boyfriend, labeled a person of interest in the Jacksonville woman's murder in Atlanta, is in custody a year after the crime. Jokisha Brown was living in Atlanta trying to start a career as a model and an actress when police say she was murdered.
Alfredo Capote is now in custody in Louisiana, charged with the armed robbery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and aggravated sexual battery of 35-year-old Jokisha Brown this time last year. Investigators say Capote Brown in her Atlanta home with her son present, then kidnapped her, took her to her hotel where he again. The next day, police say she was able to escape and get help from a stranger. Just 3 months later, Brown was found murdered inside her Mercedes outside a beauty salon. Capote was named a person of interest in the murder. Brown was well known in her hometown of Jacksonville, graduating from Ribault High School.
She went back to work, kept pursuing her career, posted on social media, spent time with her son and her family. But she was terrified. People close to her said she talked about the fear constantly, the worry that something was going to happen. One of her last Facebook posts said, "Thank you, Lord, for always being in my life. Please give me strength." She was asking for strength. 3 months after the attack, and Alfredo Capote was still out there. July 1st, 2016, the day before her 36th birthday. Jokisha drove 20 miles from her home in Duluth to a beauty salon in Northeast Atlanta. She had an appointment with her makeup artist. She wanted to look perfect for her birthday celebration. She parked her black Mercedes SUV in the strip mall parking lot and waited. Around 9 p.m., a man walked up to her car. Multiple shots were fired through the passenger window. David Aspedia worked at the Red Snapper restaurant in the same strip mall. He was leaving work that night when he saw Jokisha sitting in her car. He also noticed a man standing by a sign near the parking lot. Well-dressed, nice sneakers, just standing there, watching. It seemed odd, but David went home. Minutes later, his co-worker, Tong Vong, still inside the restaurant, heard what sounded like fireworks. Tong later said, "We thought it was a firework for July or something. And my friend told me that it's like a gunshot, not a firework. And after that, we just went out there. So like a car parking over there with the window shattered and everything, and that was gross. I think she was still trying to breathe after the shot." Someone recorded the chaos on a cell phone. A friend of Jokisha from the beauty salon came running out when she heard what happened. Jokisha Brown was gone, shot multiple times while sitting in her car the night before her 36th birthday.
Keisha! We love you! Keisha! Oh, God!
Her friends and family gathered for a vigil just days after her death, saying she was a kind and uplifting person. Now, Capote was arrested in Shreveport, Louisiana, on charges related to a counterfeiting scheme. He remains locked up on a $600,000 bond, and at this point, it's unclear when he will be extradited back to Atlanta to face charges in the Brown case.
Police arrived at the scene and immediately started investigating. They reviewed surveillance footage from the area. The video was grainy, but it showed a man hanging around the parking lot just before the shooting. Investigators found something else. That same man had been spotted outside the beauty salon 24 hours earlier, wearing the same outfit. He'd been watching, stalking her routine, planning this. A spokesperson for the Atlanta Police Department held a press conference on July 14th and said this.
I think there's no amount of justice that can even begin to equate losing someone like her.
We believe he came there to murder her. Miss Jokisha was shot multiple times. Because of the heinous nature of this crime, we believe she was definitely an intended target. Whoever did this meant to kill her. It looks like...
I'm not victim blaming, but 3 days after, she should have still been like having her head on like a swivel, being like conscious of her surroundings though. I'm not victim blaming. I'm not blaming her for anything that happened to her. I'm not saying that it's her fault, but staying in your vehicle in the parking lot of your makeup artist, or was it a strip club, or her makeup artist outside in the parking lot when 3 days earlier your ex and his accomplice broke in your house. I wouldn't be like sitting out in the parking lot after that, especially not after 3 days. I'm not blaming anything on her, but that just doesn't seem like a wise decision, just to be sitting out there in the open like a sitting duck.
Like a hit. Someone knew where Jokisha would be that night. They knew her routine, knew she went to that specific makeup artist on that specific day. Police found no evidence of robbery. Nothing was taken from her car. Her purse, her belongings, everything was still there. Within days, police named Alfredo Capote as a person of interest in Jokisha's murder. Alfredo Capote, the man who allegedly kidnapped and attacked her in April. The man who had been on the run for 3 months with active warrants. Friends and family of Jokisha gathered for a vigil just days after her death. About 25 people showed up at the strip mall parking lot where she was killed. They placed flowers, candles, and balloons. They cried. They prayed. A pastor led the vigil. They robbed a child of their mother, and whoever was involved in this, they deserve whatever they have coming to the fullest extent of the law. Her friend Leah Dobbins, who used to dance with Jokisha, spoke to reporters. She talked about how Jokisha had been trying to transition away from dancing and focus more on acting. Dobbins said, "This should be a wake-up call to everyone. Change this lifestyle. Just get out if you can."
For a man charged in a brutal attack of his ex-girlfriend can move forward after 6 years. A judge in Gwinnett County dismissed his motion to dismiss the case after a mistake by prosecutors. Channel 2's Steve Gelbach has been following this one for years.
It's been a long 6 years of waiting, just patiently praying and hoping for the best outcome.
Sabra Williams remembers Keisha Brown is bigger than life and loved living it. She says friends and family were relieved to learn this week a Gwinnett County judge ruled in favor of the district attorney and will give them more time to prosecute Alfredo Capote, serving time in federal prison on unrelated charges.
It seemed like it could go 50-50 one way or the other, but we had faith that they would do what they said they would do.
Judge found no evidence Capote's request was received by the district attorney or clerk's office and denied the motion. In a statement, the DA said, quote, "Our office is tasked with handling a pre-COVID backlog of cases along with the COVID backlog, and we are diligently working out of it. We promised to fight, and we did."
I know that there's still more to go, so it's like hopeful, but no celebrations yet.
Capote's sentence is up, and he could have been released in just 2 weeks, but now he'll stay locked up while awaiting trial.
Kevin Saps, someone who knew Jakisha from Jacksonville, told reporters she was beautiful inside and out. And if you can see the pictures of how beautiful she was that way on the inside also. Just a real sweet, kind-hearted person. I don't know why, because she was not that kind of person to make enemies. So what happened to her, I don't know why. It still bothers me. It's hurting me now. There's something else. Jakisha's brother, Marlon Bryce, had been killed just 4 months earlier in March 2016. He was shot during an incident at the Silver Fox Gentlemen's Club in Jacksonville. Her family had just buried her brother, and now, 4 months later, they were burying Jakisha. Their mother lost 2 children to violence within 4 months. At Jakisha's funeral in Jacksonville, friends and family remembered her as someone who lit up every room she walked into, someone who cared about people, someone who was working hard to build something for herself and her son. Jack, just 17 years old, had lost his mother. Police continued searching for Alfredo Capote. The U.S. Marshal Service joined the manhunt. They made it clear that Capote should be considered dangerous. A U.S. Marshal said, "We at the task force and the U.S. Marshals have no limitation to where we can outreach to locate him. Capote should be very concerned, and you should be constantly looking over his shoulder because we will eventually show up one day." They offered a $5,000 reward for information leading to his arrest. Months went by. No sign of Capote. Until July 2017, about a year after Jakisha's murder, Alfredo Capote was arrested in Shreveport, Louisiana on counterfeiting charges. Not for Jakisha's murder. The federal fraud case he'd been wanted for since 2016. When Louisiana authorities took him into custody, they realized who they had. The man wanted in connection with Jakisha Brown's kidnapping and murder. Capote was charged with armed robbery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and aggravated sexual battery for the April attack. The home invasion, the assault, the hotel. But for Jakisha's murder, he was only named a person of interest. No charges. Not yet. Capote was convicted on the federal fraud charges and sentenced to 62 months in federal prison. That's a little over 5 years. While he sat in that Louisiana prison, the question remained, would he ever be charged with Jakisha's murder? Her family, her friends, her son. They waited. While Alfredo Capote sat in federal prison serving his 62-month sentence for fraud, he filed a legal motion that almost let him walk free. In June 2020, Capote filed paperwork with the court invoking something called the Interstate Agreement on Detainers. Basically, he was demanding a speedy trial for the charges against him in Georgia, the kidnapping, the assault, all of it. Under this agreement, prosecutors have 180 days to bring the defendant to trial or respond to the request once that paperwork is filed. The Gwinnett County District Attorney's Office had 6 months to act. They didn't. The paperwork went unaddressed. Whether it was ignored or lost, nobody responded. In December 2020, Capote filed more paperwork requesting action on his case. Again, no response, no movement. Then in 2021, Capote's defense attorney Bruce Harvey filed a motion to dismiss the entire case. All the charges, armed robbery, kidnapping, aggravated sexual battery, false imprisonment, thrown out. Why? The prosecution failed to meet the 180-day deadline. They never responded to Capote's requests for a speedy trial. If that motion was granted, Alfredo Capote would serve his 62 months for fraud and walk out a free man. No trial for what he allegedly did to Jakisha in April. No accountability for her murder. He'd be free. Jakisha's family and friends learned about this motion. They showed up to court, some in person, some via Zoom, watching as Capote's attorney argued that the case should be dismissed.
Exclusive. The man accused of kidnapping and this mother might never go to trial because of a mistake by a local district attorney. That suspect was charged and indicted in the kidnapping in Gwinnett County back in 2016.
He was also named a person of interest when that same woman was murdered in Atlanta just months later.
Last year, Capote filed paperwork that would let Gwinnett County transfer and bring him back to Georgia to face trial. Under the law, prosecutors had 180 days to respond. They didn't. In a statement to Channel 2 Action News, District Attorney Patsy Austin Gatson said, quote, "The paperwork cannot be located. We deeply regret and apologize to the family of the victim." And quote, "The failure to act upon the interstate detainer places our ability to prosecute the case in Gwinnett in jeopardy for the victims." The DA says they will answer the motion to dismiss, set for a hearing next month, but admits there's little they can do now, and she's still digging into what happened, saying, quote, The family deserves justice. This unfortunate situation does not properly reflect our commitment to pursue and prosecute cases as we're charged. This administration takes responsibility, and we have put in place safeguards to prevent such an occurrence in the future.
One of Jokisha's loved ones said, "I don't think there's actually words to describe the loss that we feel with Keisha not being here. I think there's no amount of justice that can even begin to equate losing someone."
All right, let's see the charges.
Also pointed out that when Gwinnett County sheriffs asked federal authorities to place a hold on Capote based on the warrants, that was separate from the DA's office operations, but that hold was never properly placed based on the indictment. Because of paperwork issues, an alleged kidnapper and person of interest in a murder case could walk free. DA Patsy Austin Gatson was in court for the hearing. She told reporters, "My promise to the family is to seek justice on this case. And when this problem came up, we made a promise then that we would fight, and we are fighting." The judge listened to both sides, reviewed the arguments, and considered the law.
My promise to the family is to seek justice on this case. And when this problem came up, we made a promise then that we would fight, and we are fighting.
Now, there was no decision from the judge today. Instead, she gave both the defense and prosecution about 3 to 4 more weeks to present some more evidence to her written form of evidence. And then she said she will continue to look over what she heard in court today, review those arguments before making her decision.
The motion to dismiss was denied. The case would move forward. Alfredo Capote would face trial for what he allegedly did to Jokisha in April 2016. Jokisha's loved ones were relieved but cautious. One friend said, "It seemed like it could go 50-50, one way or the other. We had faith that they would do what they said they would do. I know that there's still more to go, so it's like hopeful. No celebrations yet." It took 6 years just to get here. Alfredo Capote is currently in custody awaiting trial. He's facing charges of abduction, sexual assault, armed robbery, aggravated sexual battery.
So he's still waiting trial.
It's too many dead presidents. Want this life, but I showed her a glimpse. The bottom of shoes ain't red. I'm sipping Easter pink, baby. I keep a pint in a Maybach fridge. I don't like fucking with bum ass hoes. I got a good reputation. How we got beef, who you nameless? I've been the same since the fame hit. I feel like Saturn had too many rings. Off Miley Cyrus, got her geek. I got too many hoes from A to Z. This not a drill, bitch, like I'm V. Slam a bitch like smack down in the ring. Missed calls, I ain't hear my cell phone ring. Come hide away with a real nigga. Now you feel important when you next to us.